Hey guys, so as I'm building in public with newsletters on Substack, I wanted to talk a little bit about the technology category because Substack it's basically known for its political writers and its openness to culture and artists and illustrators and comic illustrators and sports writers. So it's really strong on the politics and culture side. And I just want to talk a little bit about the technology category because that's actually a huge topic, including a lot of different types of people, including startup content, entrepreneurship, engineering, data engineering. There's so many categories within the technology topic, which makes my new revelation a little bit surprising. So Substack recently enabled in the search you to see the top 100 people, not just in the size of the newsletter, but in the actual revenue. So to my understanding before, you were only able to see the top 10 in revenue. So this sheds light on the topic and it sheds light on my own progress. So it gives me a little bit of something to think about. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to talk to you exactly about what I'm thinking. First of all, I just want to thank you for coming on this secret YouTube channel. I'm like doing this on my old laptop without a microphone or a video camera or proper lighting or a studio. I'm just this guy in Taiwan playing around with newsletters. So look, I have 400 views already. That's pretty secret, so I'm pretty happy. I mostly share these videos on my creator economy newsletter, which is itself a secret newsletter. Anyways, let's get started. So here are the views that I'm talking about. So this is the all, and this refers to the top newsletters in terms of the newsletter size. So when the recommendations came out in April 2022, a lot of these top people were getting tens of thousands of new followers from the system. And I'm curious to see if it's trickled down. So it turns out on this list, let me see if I can find myself. It's been a while since I came to this page, but I believe I'm in the top 100 somewhere. Hang on a second. Okay, well, this is far more people than I have. So I'm probably in the top 100. I'd say probably around 80. And let me just fast forward to that place. So in my first year, I've cracked the top 80. Here I am, the top 80 in free paid newsletter. So what does this mean? It means my 11,000 free readers or whatever, it ranks in the top 100 in Substack's technology sector. And keep in mind, I've just been doing this 13, 14 months, right? So if I can do it, you can do it. So as you can see, there's not so many big technology newsletters on Substack. So 2023 is actually a great time to start an artificial intelligence newsletter because that's getting lots of hype and lots of traffic, or any other kind of data science or data engineering, or newsletters for engineers themselves, about startups, about the interview process of different kinds of technology jobs. Let's look at some of the top newsletters, okay? So there's one on engineering. This is also sort of a writer who does courses. Then there's the journalism, the tech news people from Silicon Valley and so forth, a lot of big tech. Oh, this is an AI newsletter, The Sequence. It's been around a long time. Exponential View, he's also covering emerging tech like I am, but I do it in multiple newsletters and he does it in one newsletter. So he's hired like a growth team and a manager and a researcher, and it's incredible. Here's the Garbage Day, which he also part-times on Fast Company. And here's someone who's writing about biotech. So as you can see, the technology sector, it's really covering entrepreneurship, startups, and various fields in technology, including software engineers, data science, data engineering, and like me, AI, artificial intelligence. Here's someone who talks more about venture capital. Here's someone that talks more about the user interface, and so on and so forth. Here's someone who writes op-eds about the internet. So the technology category on Substack, it's really an amazing field because all sorts of writers can start to trend here. And while Substack is known primarily for its political writing and more controversial writing, it's actually a great place to learn. So this is not just entertaining, guys. This is learning about, oh my God, this guy writes about different parts of the world. It's incredible. And he doesn't even have a huge newsletter in terms of size, but he has thousands of paid subscribers. He's one of the people that I used to know from Medium. So a lot of the famous Medium writers are transferring over to Substack. And I'm starting to see that more and more. So here we have some Web3 writers. And this woman, Kyla, she's incredible. She's an influencer on TikTok and YouTube, and she writes more about finance and investing. So that's interesting that she's also in the technology category. She's also writing about big tech and the whole realm of big tech stocks and everything like that. And so you see, there's so much variety. Justin, he's a fascinating creator too, more on the data engineering and data science side. And he explains software and hardware in simple and engaging ways. So what I wanted to say is if I can do this in a year, hit this top 100 in the newsletter size, which is kind of really important because no matter how low your conversion rate is, if you have the size and the scalability, a lot can occur. So what I've done is I've driven a lot of traffic from places where I've been active in the last few years. And for me, that's primarily LinkedIn. But for you, it might be Twitter, it might be TikTok, it might be some other place. But it's nice to have a home base that's social, that's driving people to come and read your newsletter here. And then you can barter that value to other influencers and creators with the recommendations and offer your newsletter to potential sponsored ads who are very much aligned with your topic, where the ads don't feel like they're disruptive. So as much revenue as we could make with paid subs, there's all these other opportunities, guys. Technology on Substack, as you can see, it's relatively nascent. If I can get in the top 100 in a year, that means a lot of other people can as well. And so when people start to realize this, there's going to be more AI newsletters on Substack. There's going to be more data science and data engineering, and these educational channels. It's edutainment, right? It's partially education, partially entertainment. And for me, like, I'm covering a lot of breaking news, a lot of like kind of more quasi journalism, and in the tech news cycle, I'm sort of dialed into that. But I'm also really interested in venture capital. And as you can see, we only saw one major venture capital newsletter there among the top. So my big reveal is, and it's kind of crazy. So Substack opened up this way so I can see the top people in the paid section. So let me just drag this down so I can see it and hop over to the paid. You see, it's leaderboard, technology, paid. So what shocked me here is that Substack seems to have acknowledged me, seems to say, okay, you're writing a lot of content. Let's give you a chance to see yourself on this list. So I'm one of the main Substack watchers in the technology realm. So who else to show you this list, right? No one else would think of looking at this perhaps but me right now. So we know these guys at the top, right? We're familiar. Here's someone that writes about the semiconductor. So these are the top paid newsletters. And you can see what they're charging is pretty variable. The venture capital guy here, Eric Newcomer, he charges $19, right? Venture capital folk, money is not an issue. The engineering guy here, he charges $15. So you see, they're charging 3 to 4 times what a culture writer or someone else would be charging. So it's not as much as the investing finance people, but it's still like you can make a living if you get enough subscriptions. You don't even have to do ads or anything else, right? Even $10 a month, it scales pretty well. I decided to go more on the cheap end. I'm actually boosted my monthly price to $8.50 just to cover inflation and to cover the Stripe fees. And it used to be $8, but I'm charging a lot less for the yearly because I really like those yearly subscriptions. Anyways, here's someone that charges $100 a month. He has no problem getting over 100 people. So when it says hundreds of paid subscribers, it could be 105, or it could be 405 or 890. We just don't know. The point being, he's ranked high, so that means this model is working for him. Now, I have no idea what Samo here writes, and it looks like it's really deep dives on key industries and organizations. Fair enough. So here's the first AI newsletter, and I don't see this as a competitor. The sequence is amazing. They've been around for years. I wouldn't compete with these people. You know, there's all these other AI newsletters, and they all bring something new to the table. And that's what I love about Substack, right? Like I might write about the news and current trends, and other people might be giving awesome links to AI tools, and it's all sort of complementary, right? It's not like it's the same content. Each person is going to have a different angle. The refactoring, I really like Luca. Oh, he's created this community for data engineers and data scientists, and it's like, oh, I love his vibe. I think he's in Italy. Anyways, I'm happy to see him in the top 15. And you have all sorts of, oh, here's the Ryan again. He does very well. Oh, he's only charging $5 a month. That's so interesting. So he probably has tons, thousands of paid subscribers. So you see, they both really work. You could charge more and get less subs, or you could charge less and get more subs. I think Substack recommends that you do the lower end and just get more because it's kind of more diversified, right? People can come and go and you don't really feel it as much, right? Whereas if you're depending on fewer paid subscribers, your 1,000 true fans, what happens if they disappear, right? Anyways, let's keep going down the list. So this person seems to have more of a podcast. Wow, that's incredible. 25 a month, but it seems like she specializes as a podcast. There's so many people in the technology realm. Oh, and here's Liberty. Oh, I'm glad he finally started to charge what he's worth. So he's charging $11.99 a month. And he's an oldie but goodie on Substack. And it's nice to see him making a little bit more money because, you know, at the beginning, we're so hesitant to charge and we're like, no, we'll offer for free. It feels wrong. But it's like the entire internet has basically gone to paid subscriptions, right? So if you're an artist or you're a creator or you're a writer or you're someone that this is your full-time gig, please charge money. Like seriously. So this is one of the best times in history to start an AI newsletter. And I have an AI newsletter. I should be inviting potential competitors, right? But listen, you have ChatGPT, you have Google about to announce 20 new AI products in the next 18 months. It's gonna be wild. If you're in India or something, find someone else in a Western country or in another country that accepts Stripe and just don't let them charge you a commission. Just find a buddy out there, right? So there's all sorts of workarounds. Anyone can do this. Kyla is here again. I'm so happy for her. She's an amazing finance and investing educator. Her TikTok and YouTube, that's the holy trinity, right? Have a Substack, have a YouTube, and have like a TikTok or a Snapchat or something else video-wise. YouTube Shorts, perhaps. Anyways, guys, this is incredible. The technology sector of Substack needs more major creators. And I'm doing this on purpose to show you Substack's been around for years, but the technology category, it's going to get so much bigger. So you're still early if you start a data science, data engineering, AI, entrepreneurship, startups, venture capital, big tech. Oh my God, right? Anyways, here we going down the list. Okay, so this is the part where I get a bit shocked. I see myself, this little AI guy, right? I'm in the top 50 guys in paid subs. And yes, it has been exploding in 2023. And I don't think it's anything I'm doing. Like, I'm just doing what I've always done. If anything, I'm writing too much. My quality has gone down. I'm like kind of always perpetually burnt out, but I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm waking up with a smile. I'm here in Taiwan trying to lower my costs. I'm an expat digital nomad. But to see myself as a top 50 newsletter in technology, it's a little bit baffling because there's all these creative topics, right? There's entrepreneurship and startups. And I just keep repeating myself, right? Because I'm just amazed because this is like a meta category. What this tells me is that Substack is just so overweight politics and commentary to actual educational content regarding technology, right? Because like I come from the LinkedIn world, I'm not a business type. I just happened to start blogging there, right? So I know that audience, they're really high net worth. They're typically able to afford $5 or $10 a month to your newsletter, right? Anyways, here I am, almost top 40 on Substack and technology. What? Like, I'm an introverted person, but you see here, I'm trying to make an effort. I'm trying to like almost realize, is this real? Like, what's going on? I mean, yes, I have a lot of recommendations. Yes, I made a lot of writer referrals, and LinkedIn is seeing those writer referrals, and they're mostly people in Asia and India, just because I grew up in India and I have sort of a connection with that country, and I trying to get to know what's going on there, right? Because so much of the global GDP growth in the next few decades actually comes from India because their demographics are actually really young. So a lot of the startups, a lot of the AI newsletters will naturally be from places like India. So I just wanted to put that out there that a lot of my writer referrals happen to be from India. So if Substack finds growth there, I'm going to be probably one of their channels of Indians discovering Substack. Anyways, guys, like I'm not even making that much money. So how am I in the top 50? This means that the technology category on Substack is just in its infancy. Those guys at the top, those guys in the top 10, they're making a lot of money compared to me, who's in the top 50. So what this means is that there's an incredible vacancy for creators, for builders, for AI newsletters. A lot of those AI newsletters will maybe be on Beehive, right? Maybe they don't come to Substack. Maybe they think Substack is just for authors, just for big influencers, just for like huge Twitter accounts. And, I'm proof that that's not true, right? Because I'm not a published author. I don't have a technical education. I don't have a big Twitter account. Listen, I've been on Twitter now. It's impossible to grow. I'm like, do I have to get Twitter Blue just to like grow my little baby account? It makes no sense to me, guys. I started a Twitter account for my newsletter. That is doing better than me. My personal brand apparently is just not interesting. So yes, I cover the news. It's a little bit dry. It's a little bit boring. I'm sorry about that. That's just what I'm into. But to say that even with that kind of content, which has a very low conversion rate, I haven't done a podcast. I haven't created a community. I haven't optimized for monetization. I haven't done any of those things that you should do that I tell people to do because I just love writing with the blogging and the news and the breaking news, right? That's my thing. That's what I wake up to do. And hopefully I will learn from my experiences and grow as a creator and learn about video content. I'm this old dude here trying to make a YouTube that's like no one's gonna see. But you know what I'm saying, right? As a writer, you do evolve, and as a creator, you do become more creative. And those people that are building communities and podcasts and other things are doing amazingly well. I will say this, one thing I'm super interested in is offering my readers potential jobs, right? So if they're a software development person, if they're a data engineer or a data scientist or an AI enthusiast, I've I'm integrating with the company called Palette. And what Palette does is they go after newsletter creators among other kinds of creators and tap into their audience and try and give them jobs. So it's actually who pays me? It's actually the companies that want access to my talent collective, my talent hub. And it's Pallet, Pallet. And it starts to scale. We've seen it with some of the big Substack technology. People that Pallet can scale, it can give them another revenue source, right? So maybe they're charging companies 200 or 300 or 500 American dollars per pop just to access the few hundred people in their talent hub. So I find that really nice because if you can offer readers professional opportunities, that's something to me that's so potentially valuable, right? You're not just informing them or inspiring them or educating them, that you could be helping them get a job is to me really something I feel very aligned with and that I'm trying out, even though I'm just a little creator, right? I'm just on month 14. I only have 11,000 free readers, but I'm already growing my paid revenue here. So I'm basically proof that you don't have to be like these huge people who have been doing this for years on Substack or have these like other famous things that just are lead funnels for them, right? I guess my only difference from a complete novice is that I've been blogging on LinkedIn for years. So at least I have a little bit of that LinkedIn traffic. But if you don't like LinkedIn, just do Twitter or do something else. Find a social media site where these technology people are, like Reddit or Hacker News or Hacker Noon or Medium. You see, there's all these potential lead generators for technology writers. And I feel like they're missing out on what's possible on Substack, right? Because if, let's say, I become eventually a top 20 person here, I'll be so much more visible. That will lead to potentially more paid revenue. That will lead to potentially other kinds of gigs. That will potentially lead to more inquiries from potential sponsored advertisers, right? And then if I'm in the job sector, AI startups might even want to be a part of my newsletter because they'll also potentially get potential candidates to work as they are growing. So I'm tapping into the venture capital and jobs market in my own way. I'm writing about, the startup deals and who's acquired who, and all sorts of breaking news around the technology sector that's actually not just about AI. I am very interested in whether TikTok is going to be banned and what's happening with data engineering and data science and not just AI, right? I sort of have to be a generalist about all these different topics because part of my personal brand is kind of a futurist generalist, right? And I know that that personal brand kind of niche is frowned upon. Oh, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. And I'm okay with that, right? There's going to be newsletters who are a lot more technically proficient. I'm just a blogger writing about technology. But if I can make it in the top 50 in paid, imagine what real people on the field in AI and actual book writers can do, right? They join Substack and they're instantly 20,000, 30,000. And I've seen this because I've made lists of the top AI newsletters, right? So machine learning could have its own category, but so could entrepreneurship, engineering, and venture capital and startups. And so technology is like this huge macro category. And I just want to share, guys, because I was shocked. I was like, thank you, Substack, for being more transparent. And look at me go. Look at me go. What's going on? Since November, things have been taking off. For the first 10 months, I was barely growing. Guys, you have to do this for at least a year to see anything, to see even the potential to compound. So why is this occurring to me? Well, I have 70 newsletters recommending my newsletter. I have over 40 writer referrals. all of that is sending me passive traffic. I don't even need to go on LinkedIn and Twitter and create clickbait. But maybe doing that is fun. Maybe doing that allows me to get information that helps me write better. Maybe writing higher quality posts is my destiny. But for now, I just love posting as much as I feel like, right? Sometimes that's 4 times a week. Sometimes that's even 6 times a week. Like it was, I have to force myself to take a break. Here I am on a Monday. I'm like, okay, I won't write on my flagship newsletter. I've already written three articles on my other newsletters. So you see, like we all have our own tendencies and our own pace and our own preferences. And I'm just like stubbornly an old-time blogger. And if an old-time blogger can do this, can be a top 100 in size and top 50 in paid on Substack, it means technology on Substack has a lot of potential. It means that there's a lot of places that can be filled by you guys out there who haven't started a newsletter yet. And I just wanted to get that out there just because perhaps you didn't realize most of the writers on Substack seem to be in the culture and political domain. And that's amazing. I love liberal arts. My education was more philosophy, liberal arts, and psychology, okay? I'm not a business type. I just happen to end up liking those things. I self-taught myself about investing. I've been blogging for the last 10 years about technology. So it's only fitting that I'm in this place of being kind of, I mean, I thought I was late, right? Starting late 2021. But it turns out, in a sense, I'm also one of these pioneers because there's just not that many technology writers. And I don't mean to offend Substack by saying that, but this is what the data is telling me, right? The data is telling me AI newsletters could rocket to the top, right? Because everyone's talking about AI. Here I am, my newsletter is called AI Supremacy. And my original intention was to write more about the US versus China, right? And this kind of like this competition, this AI arms race. And I do still try and cover politics. I do still try and cover that feeling of national rivalry and the uncertainty with what AI can become. But there's so many topics that I'm trying to cover. There's so many angles, and my readers, they're so diverse, right? So I end up creating kind of more general content that's kind of like a little bit for everyone, where perhaps I should be creating content that's more of the controversial type that I had planned. But anyway, that's another matter. The point being, I'm just following my gut and doing what I like to do. And I'm not even optimized for paid subs, right? And I'm still able to make a few $1,000s per month, right? So how is this going to scale? If it's grown to top 50 in the first year and a little bit, what's it going to be after 2 or 3 years? I don't know. But this gives me some signals and some signs that Substack technology writers can really take off in 2023. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next time. And this was just a rant. So take everything about what I'm saying with a grain of salt. And this is just my opinion. This does not represent anybody else. But go and check out the leaderboards. They change, and you have more access now to see the top lists, the top 100 at least in your category.